Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Now, 2 days ago, I did a video. I did some content on Ukrainian losses, on the lack of reporting by the Ukrainian state, and I also displayed a website where you, the viewer, could go and you could look at Ukrainian losses. Now, specifically, this website, UA Losses, is not popular with the Ukrainian government at all. It documents the funerals of Ukrainian soldiers. So you can get an idea of the scope and size of actual Ukrainian battlefield losses. Now look, a lot of the numbers are still not being reported on that site. I have information such as the funerals that take place in military facilities or on military sites and in big cities are not getting reported on. So a lot of these numbers are actually smaller that you will observe on UA Losses, but nonetheless, it is a very unpopular internet site for the Ukrainian government. And we believe the Ukrainian government may have just launched an attack on that site and has taken it down. Now, is it because we were talking about that site and displayed it and probably there was an uptick in traffic? Difficult to say. But I do know that the leadership in Kiev does not want that site to exist at all. Now, in terms of those casualties that were being reported on that site, you have 55,000 or in excess of 55,000 actual persons and their military unit and their burial site. Now, I've gotten some pushback that number, that 55,000 number, is excessively low. Many in the Russian Federation and those that I would say are on the side of the Russian Federation believe that number being reported by that website is vastly low. Now, it may be, but what I will also say is if you look at that number and you look at the units that have suffered casualties and you take that number of 55,000 troops killed over the course of just about 3 years, and then you have to then multiply times 3 to 7 the number of other casualties in terms of battlefield wounded, serious battlefield wounds, that number is then probably closer to 55,000 killed with another 150,000 wounded. If we just take that information on that website. Now look, that number is by no means small. If you're a country and you have essentially going into the conflict a population of about 40 million people, obviously much less now. A lot of people have fled the Ukraine. And you look at the size of the Ukrainian military, about 250,000 men, strong ground forces and National Guard. And then you look at those losses, those are not small losses. So if we took those losses as 55,000 dead and 150,000 wounded and transpose those losses to, say, the United States. Look, if the United States suffered 55,000 battlefield dead and 150,000 battlefield wounded, that would be catastrophic for the U.S. military. Absolutely catastrophic. The United States would have to go on a full wartime footing. They would have to institute a full-on draft, full-on conscription. Again, if the United States took those kinds of losses, 55,000 dead, and those kinds of losses from individual maneuver brigades, the United States would be in some deep crap. Seriously. So those losses are not by any means insignificant losses. They are serious, serious losses, especially for a country the size of the Ukraine. And you can't discount that at all. Even if those are the actual losses, and we know they're not, okay? We know that, obviously, there are significant more casualties that are not being reported on that website because they can't. They don't know. They can't get the names. Some of these troops have just disappeared. They're just gone, and they're not going to report a casualty and write on a casualty on a funeral that never occurred, because many of these losses, there have been no funerals. So again, that casualty count inherently is going to be much higher. How higher, we don't really know. But what I wanted to try and articulate, again, those losses, 55,000 plus 150,000 casualties, are not small. Again, that would be catastrophic for the U.S. It would change the shape of how the United States would fight war. It would change U.S. society. It would institute a general draft, would be instituted in the United States if the United States took those kinds of casualties. And that's a fact. So I just wanted to touch base on that real quick, have a discussion on that, and obviously, thank you for joining us. More to come very, very soon. Have a good day.